Check, check. What's up? What's up? Good morning. Welcome back. Let me just double check my sound. Looks pretty good. So for those of you tuning into YouTube, remember to check out the disclaimer. Remember that day trading is, of course, risky business. Can I please add time and sales to the YouTube stream? The problem with adding the time and sales is that, it's not allowed. I could increase the volume more. I mean, the volume looks good on my side. I could increase it more. Time and sales, check, 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 check. That should be better. Time and sales is not allowed, so it's a little bit, I used to do it back in the day, but not anymore. I'm going to leave this to this side so I can see this. Let's see, can I fit it here? Yeah, anyhow, check out the disclaimer. Remember that trading is risky and most people lose, so utilize small size in the beginning. Utilize simulators. Do not use money that you cannot afford to lose. And remember, I do not invest for my subscribers, so be careful of fake accounts. I will never message you first under any circumstance. So with that being said, let's take a look at the watch list. We do have a good watch list again today. There's GELS, which is up 347%, pretty insane. There's TIVC. TIVC up 212%, pretty insane move again. OBLG, which is up 137%. Usually when there's stocks up this much this early, it's a good sign of a hotter, stronger market for the small cap land, despite us seeing the aggressive sell-off in the overall market. So with the moves that we had yesterday, the 500% move, UPXI and MLGO, I'd expect to see some sort of continuation today. So WNW as well. So OBLG and WNW. I think HOLO some people might like, so I can add it as well, but it's not going to be my top 4, top 3. But definitely a big time name from last year, or I think, yeah, last year, February. So there's the watch list. Don't forget, if you're tuning in on YouTube, to hit that thumbs up. We already got 160 people in the building. The days where before you even wake up, you already know you're green. You already know before you even turn on your computer what to expect. These days, as in the last 3 months, things have been more choppy. So being careful is going to be a big factor today. Yesterday, I think we did a good job of trying to pace ourselves. But when we brought out some size, for those of you who saw the recap, we got in trouble. And we thought the dips were looking pretty good. We got in and maybe perhaps gave them a little too much time. And we got destroyed. Right? We got absolutely murdered. And we were red on 4 out of 4 stocks, which is pretty brutal. My biggest issues on my red days are just accuracy, or is accuracy. My accuracy is usually below 45%, which anytime it's below 45%, it's going to be harder to end the day green. And most times, like 95% of the times, if my accuracy is above 45%, it'll be a green day. So to get some trend lines going here, GELS, I'll start here and then make my way down. This is the leading stock, 614 for pre-market highs. We have had a pretty brutal pullback already, coming down to 394. This one started off around 4 a.m. and there are a lot of people who will wake up at 4 a.m. for this stuff. So some traders probably already had a good day and probably not going to show back up. It's possible. Anyhows, so we had that strong move. We had a bit of a pullback, sideways consolidation, a new high. Somewhat of a double top towards 6. And then since then we've been somewhat sideways. I think it does look pretty decent. I mean, there is a bit of a head and shoulders if you really look at it, but there is still a chance that we can curl up, being that we've been resting for so long. But definitely a bit of a head and shoulders pattern is what I'm seeing here. Now, beyond that, we're sideways in a massive consolidation. And the absolute low versus the absolute high of the pullback, we'll of course want to see the trend to the upside and then the breakout over the pre-market highs. But first we'll have to get up to VWAP and then break a 5, perhaps 525, 550, and then so forth towards $6. And if we can get a halt up somewhere in there, that'd be nice, right? Daily chart seems to be pretty young. The stock seems to have been at the all-time highs. I can double check. GELS on E-Trade. Yeah. Prior to today, highs were at 550. I'm not sure if it's a name change or not, but the history is showing 550 as previous high. So I'll go with that number. TIVC false breakout. Yeah, but 614 all-time highs here. So coming down to TIVC. Currently up 230% at $11. Price range wise, I do prefer this price range over any price range right now. Although yesterday we did have the complications, right? And yesterday what was interesting, similar to what we saw a few weeks before, about 2 weeks ago, the halt level on the stock was $3 a share below the market price and $3 a share above the market price, meaning it is volatile and we're probably not going to get halted because of how far away it is. So the range is even bigger than usual for the price. So that's something to definitely be careful of in terms of pullbacks, and then holding winning trades a little longer to get the bigger move early. So yesterday I had like 2 really good trades where I sold for like 60 cents. But, you know, we kind of had twice, maybe even $2 share move out of the push. Something to keep an eye out for. But the way how I feel deep down today is that, you know, I'm coming with my A game, and if stocks are strong, I can't allow myself to not be green. I know that sounds a little, if you want to use the word, arrogant, right? Maybe not, but can't allow myself to not be green today if the momentum is hot. Like, just bottom line, like, we just have to trade to the best of our abilities, be quick with cutting those losses, and do what we know how to do best here, right? Not overcomplicate things. But anyhow, the daily chart, TIVC. We need to win. So looking at E-Trade, the stock has definitely moved up quite a bit in the past. And let's see. We have 1105, 1569, and then a range going back to July of last year. Sorry, let me get those two levels first. 1105. These are areas where short sellers could potentially look to, be a little bit more aggressive. We're around 1163. So there's 1564, which is above the pre-market high. And then 1607 before we really have a lot of room up to 2025. I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes to 20 bucks. And in fact, I think my intuition is telling me that it's likely. A lot of times we start to see trends, and the stock yesterday that was at $10 or 11, UPXI, it got to 20, right? I think it got to 20 and then pulled back. That's where I was saying, okay, I'll probably ease off because I wasn't able to capture the move. Yeah, we got to 20 the first push, then the pullback came. And honestly, shout out to this stock for being so strong, because after this move, I thought it was definitely finished. We still had a retest of the highs and got up to 22 before a massive, and again, the halt levels are so wide. This candlestick had a 22 high and a low of 1556. Now, I don't know if it was a magic wick to the downside. Maybe it didn't get that low, but this is kind of crazy. $7 a share in one candle. For those of you who are here, if you guys can confirm that, I mean, wow. Anyhows, so I think TIVC and GELS are going to be my main two stocks. The others will kind of just see how they go. But I really want to be locked in on one stock. I'm going to adjust my share size and get ready here. Yesterday we did have some areas where opportunity cost. We look away and then, the main stock kind of bottomed out. Bear flag breakout, that kind of thing. And, you can miss the move pretty easily. So just the strongest one, TIVC, I'll be watching into the open. GELS, a close second. And I'll go from there. A minute 30 seconds to the opening bell. Don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, to hit the thumbs up. Not because it's been a slow year, not because it's been a choppy market. It means, we have to be soft here. Still want to be as confident as ever, as aggressive as ever if the market tells us to under the right circumstance. Meaning, we utilize our small size, everything looks good, we build a cushion, and stocks are still strong. Got to step up. Got to step up and put the pedal to the metal. You got to be fierce, courageous, and disciplined, all in one. So with 20 seconds to go, I feel pretty good. Yesterday is history. Today is a chance for greatness. TIVC into the open.
HOFB, HOUR, GSRTR,
WHLR, PHC, TION,
pretty big range here so far.
TIVC, SLI, GE,
NAK,
SBEB, WNW,
REDD,
The low is at 11.14 there.
ICCT, SNYR, APDN,
So similar to what we saw yesterday in terms of range.
ELB1,
SBFM,
The halt down is at a little closer though, 11.03.
BCTX,
ICCT, CION, SEDG, BULL, SVEB, MTBA, HAL, CRDO, BZ, BBGI halted. BBGI will resume at 9 hours 35 minutes 16 seconds. HSAC halted.
No retest of 13 there. It's back down again.
16 seconds.
You gotta be careful of the fills too. Really wide spreads.
SXTP, HTZ, BRT, CRDO, ICCT,
HTZ, CION,
MRVL, BZ, HAL, BTVR,
I think this one I want to be a little bit more active as well here.
TDEX, CION,
I want to just throw out a few more trades because it seems like when it does get ready to start moving, it is quick.
SNAP, HTZ, BZ, BTDR,
Watching TIVC. Highs are at 13.
ICCT, WULL,
GXX,
IRN, SBEB,
It's definitely unforgiving with the range, so you gotta watch out for that.
ARB,
SBEV hitting the scans.
APLD,
We're in our third, fourth minute. We haven't really broke out. We're still in this sideways range here.
WULL, IBZ, BTDR, IRN, HTZ, ENPH,
It might halt down.
ICCT,
It is halting down.
HAL, WULL, OBLG,
OBLG on a small red to green.
CIFR, SHFS, HTZ,
There's a lot of different stocks hitting the scans.
TIVC halted. TIVC will resume at 9 hours 38 minutes and 58 seconds.
OBLG is back down. WNW, how are we doing? A little sideways. So TIVC, there's opportunity there to make some money, but the range again is kind of all over the place. We didn't really have an uptrend. It's still early though, so we'll see.
ARB, IBZ, PCT, IRN, CORZ,
I'm just waiting here, watching the scans.
WULL, CIFR, SVEB halted, Speed EV will resume at 9 hours 39 minutes and 46 seconds. WNW. BTDR.
WNW. I got a review up.
HUT.
Nothing impressive as of yet, but keeping an eye on WNW.
SXTP. BTDR. CORZ. AREB. FMTO halted. FMTO will resume at 9 hours 38 seconds. CORZ. ZION. MP.
Small starter on WNW.
AREB. HUT. SXTP. CIFR.
BERB.
WULF. CORZ. HUT.
It definitely fluctuates a little bit for a $2 stock, but so far so good. So there's a jump, 10-cent jump right there.
KF.
WHLR. CORZ. SXTP. ICCT. ZION. SHLS.
The highs are at 40. Will we see a push through? 39.
MCR.
Quite. We're seeing some volume though.
BULF.
HTZ. SHLS.
Can I see 35, 40? HTZ hitting the scans, but watching WNW here. It's above VWAP, it's holding up. I want to try and stick to just one.
MDP. TDR. DWTX. PCT. HTZ.
Just watching and waiting. Okay, it's gonna reclaim. All right, fair.
BTCT.
USAR.
It's under some stress. I'm gonna try it one more time.
APP.
I kind of have the VWAP as the last hold here. Time. There's 3 minutes left in the candlestick.
9 hours 47 minutes and 1 second.
RDHL. SLNH. FATN.
MEDP.
Time. There's 2 minutes for the new 1 minute candle.
CIFR. CSIQ. TIVC may resume in less than a minute. NG.
Uh-oh. That's not what I want. That's not what I meant to do.
ASCP.
There we go. But can we get over 40 though is the question.
HSAI. HTZWW.
Watching for the aggressive hold. If not, tight stop. Yep.
SXTP.
This one has opportunity, but it doesn't feel like the stock of the day opportunity. I'm gonna switch over. Check out some of the other ones. And this one is selling off. Great. Like the stock of the day right there would have ripped to 50, bro. Like
SXTP.
WNW, no good.
NG.
OBLG, no good. TIVC, no good. HOLO, sold off. And then GELS, not looking great.
APP.
We had on the scans SXTP, HTZ, and a couple others. So let's see, HTZ.
CT.
Nice. HTC isn't moving the same though. I think the float a little too high.
MH.
FMTO.
WKHS.
Okay, FMTO is halted up. Looks like it started with light volume.
FTG.
There's a lot of random stocks kind of moving. ICCT. I mean, this one looks like it gave a great move. Man. I saw it on the scan, but you know, kind of sticking to the watch list stocks for the time being. I'm gonna trade this one off screen. We're gonna let's see, how does this even look? Okay, ICCT. First daily candle made the new high after the big push we had a few weeks ago. Highs are 350. The key question for me right now is what is a good entry, right? So I think watching for a pullback trade, perhaps. Unless we get consecutive green candles, but we've already kind of had that into this new push. Is the breakout worth it? Watching ICCT, currently at 348. I like this pullback. Now we just have to hold up the pullback. I am tempted to take more size here too, but I'm just going to take it slow, small size.
LW. CAPR.
Time.
PG. FMTO may resume in less than a minute. ATPC.
The candle closed. We're going to close with that pretty bad wick up there. It might come down. VWAP is at 07, but I mean it's pretty weak wick here.
Page will resume at 9 hours 54 minutes and 20.
Wanted to see high teens slingshot back up to mid 20s, maybe high 20s, but candle's gonna close pretty bad.
HSA high.
Now we can still curl, but it's definitely more of a 5-minute pullback. So we might see more range to the downside. FMTO 10 seconds. I got 500 shares, 924. I'll trade this one off screen. Here we go. And it's an instant halt down. No false halt either.
HSA high.
Well, okay.
ECT.
All right, watching the 5-minute pullback on ICCT.
HSA high.
GCTS. ILLR.
Time. KSCP hitting the scans.
FMTO halted. FMTO will resume at 9 hours 56 minutes and 20 seconds. HSA high.
I'm gonna have a pretty tight leash on this one here. Not looking to give it too much range.
HTC.
Can we see that slingshot? Nope. Cutting it. Going down a little too much. I was going to add there 302, but it doesn't look like it's going to hold. So TIVC in the depths, everything's selling off here. So I think keeping to the small size is the way to go for now. Kind of showing up late to this one though, right? Kind of already backside by the time I'm pulling it up. ICCT. Just gonna rotate through all the hotter stocks that we had. FMTO, the volume is pretty light, so you know not a lot there. WNW, okay, bit of a red to green.
HSA high.
It's kind of, let's give it a sec. I'm gonna watch this dip here.
CT.
The highs are at 40.
BCIG.
VCIG,
ATPC.
VCIG doesn't really look that good. Again, I haven't really been using any sort of size yet. Kind of still trying to get to that hotter stock.
CCT.
Maybe it'll be WNW. I mean, I wouldn't mind this price range. Can we see the 1 minute candle make a new high?
BT.
FMTO, I'm gonna miss it. It looks like it halted up. Didn't really pay too much attention there because of how light the volume was, but good push. Still watching to see if we can get the 1 minute candle to make a new high here. How's the pullback?
CAPR.
There's a new 5 minute candle. Well, we'll kind of a couple of minutes into the candle. We'll see how it closes.
WTF.
NG.
Oh, it gave me the terrible fill there. Whatever. Can we see over 30? There's a bid. Brother. I don't know, it seems kind of choppy,
NG.
as in they're sellers. They're sellers above 30. I think I might just wait until he gets above 30.
H may resume in less than a minute. FMTO halted. FMTO will resume at 10 hours 1 minute and 38 seconds.
Is the dip worth it again? Smaller size this time. I want a better fill,
G.
a better entry. But, we'll see if it works. I'm skeptical this time because of how much sellers we got up there.
GELS.
But
CR.
if we can clear the sellers,
CELL.
GELS.
SXTP halted. SXTP will resume at 10 hours 3 minutes.
A bit of a false breakout over 4. But we'll see. I'll keep an eye.
ROOT. Educate.
16 big levels here for WNW.
TGL.
WNW held.
NG.
We'll see what keeps fighting. And UKK. Still doesn't feel like we had one strong stock yet. Still taking it slow. Still using small size. Waiting. Waiting to unleash.
FMTO may resume in less than a minute. NG.
And UKK doesn't look like anything. TIVC still selling off. So much So much for that move to 20.
APLD. NG. H will resume at 10 hours 5 minutes and 33 seconds. APLD. PULL. C.
PSLK.
Come on, push through. Can we push through to a new high here? Definitely got sellers.
PULL will be halted. SPTV will resume at 10 hours 7 minutes and 1 second. CIFR.
Rebull on the climb again.
SXTP may resume in less than a minute. FMTO.
I really and truly should have been in on that last dip, but looking at so many different stocks, once we held up that low of 16, I'm like, okay, should have jumped in.
Resume at 10 hours 7 minutes and 27
Big
seconds.
levels here, 34.
FMTO.
PWK.
Volume on FMTO still pretty light. Nothing that's just super A quality. $15. Perhaps a new low. And GELS rejected 4.
FMTO will resume at 10 hours 8 minutes and 49 seconds. H may resume in less than a minute.
TBH. ERTG.
MASS.
This one's coming down.
PWK.
Down to the depths. So WNW no good. Starting to just feel like a slower day here at this point.
ERTG.
It's 10:05 a.m. Usually by this time we're already like on a normal nice green day, like sitting really well. BULL I haven't looked at, but I guess we did go from 26 to 30.
SXTC. NG.
FMTO has about 3 minutes.
TC. SXTC may resume in less than a minute.
FMTO coming up, but very light volume.
ECT.
And this is like pulling teeth, man. Watching paint dry.
SXTC.
Definitely a huge difference from the uptrend yesterday, though, you know? It's like despite ending red yesterday, we can clearly say that there was like some strong moves to the upside.
TIVC.
Right now, we're seeing
SXTC.
nothing here. So definitely a day to take it slow, and this will keep waiting
FMTO.
probably another 30 minutes, an hour for something else to come. BULL, the volume goes down here to near zero and then surges in.
PWK.
Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. Seeing a big move on FMTO, but there's no way it did what it did that. Was there a reverse split or something? It's showing like it went to 2K. It's too wild. And I had more size than I would like there. So I could have took a bigger loss. Scratch trade. Sideways. Bigger drop there to 970.
EPWK.
And it is all over the place. Yeah, guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Bit of a slower day so far. Just pacing myself here. Taking it slow. Something will more than likely come. You just have to keep waiting. Taking it slow.
CDTG.
LMD, what's up, man? Long time no see.
GG8L. NG.
So GELS, I'm just keeping an eye here. You know, if we can get tighter into this area and then
FCTG.
hopefully can break out over 4 at some point in the next 20 minutes. That'd be nice.
NG.
Would be lovely if we can get a breakout. VWAP is still above us though, 430. So even if we do break over 4, we're not going to be in the clear just yet. BULL
NG.
at the highs.
BULL.
think I'm just gonna watch GELS and just be patient. Perhaps there's an early entry I can catch.
The XLK may resume in less than a minute. BUL out.
ALEC.
UPXI. NG.
FMTO coming down. Looks like it's halting down.
BUL out. $10, 17 LT, 16 seconds.
This is a pretty interesting push here.
WULF.
40 to 60, 20 cents. There's no real volume though. I'll see if it starts to base out and slowly grind up.
APLD. WULF. NG. CLSK.
It's just strange seeing the market. I mean, yet again, it's been, I mean, I can't complain, right? Yesterday was a good day. I always say that if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing at all times, as in on a day like yesterday, finishing green nicely, the slower days don't really matter at all.
NG. WULF.
And in fact, they're irrelevant.
We are reading.
ABSI. APLD.
We're averaging like 200,000 shares a candle here, but it still seems so strange, the price action.
OMH halted. OMH will resume at 10 hours 19 minutes and 5 seconds. APLD. ATPC. EPWK. CLSK. NG.
Definitely not using any size yet, but we'll see if this thing keeps holding up.
EPWK. APLD. NG.
I only feel comfortable using size if a stock like this is just moving, like, like if it's super volatile, or not super volatile, but at least moving and uptrending. But whilst I like this trade there at the low, the volume just isn't ideal. Some people will take it with size still, kind of depending on your risk appetite. I want to see break of 4 and a move to 450 and then 5 in a nice uptrend with pullbacks.
APLD.
WNW. Yeah, I gotta check. I gotta rotate the stocks again here. Take a couple cents. Let's see. So BULL pulling back a little bit. FMTO halted down.
CYBT.
GELS, we're looking at that one now. We'll see if it continues to hold up. HOLO, no good. ICCT. A ways away from the lows. NUKK, no good.
NG.
OBLG, sold off. SPEV,
ELD.
not much. So GELS at 65, I'm still keeping an eye. In fact, let me watch here in case I want to jump in. $52. Not quite ready perhaps for that push. TIVC, no good. WNW, also still holding up.
NG.
Yeah, it could be the day. Could be the day. It's crazy to say that in the first hour, but if we're going off of what a typical green day looks like, you know, the first 15-20 minutes you're already nicely green and then you're kind of just cruising. But that does not mean we can't see something later, right?
RIOT.
So depending on what we decide to do, we just have to move forward with the discipline. So here's WNW, big levels. You know, sometimes on a slower day like this, you come back and you see a stock did a good move, like an excellent move. So WNW right now is fighting 32. $29. How well can we hold up here?
RIOT. SMMT.
It seems like there's a lot of short sellers. So if it goes, there's a chance we can maybe squeeze up a little bit. I definitely want to have size ready, but I still got to keep in mind to try to build a cushion first. So just moderate size.
ELD. WULF. CIFR.
Come on. Good, good. Squeeze. Squeeze like the wind. It might happen. So, okay, it might happen. We might see it. We got 58 there for highs. Now the key is for this not to fall back below the resistance.
10 hours, 24 minutes and 48 seconds.
That first drop kind of tight, but pretty good nevertheless. Probably should have jumped in.
IKNA. HXHX. FTFT.
All right. That just was, there's just no way I could have gotten in there. So hopefully it halts up. Can we halt up? And when the move comes like that, there's no end. So 44, I needed to be in. That was the low of that dip. One and done.
Resumed in less than a minute.
The halt is now at 3.
CT halted. CMCT
It is squeezing, but we're not seeing a lot of micros. This is where it gets tricky because it's a little high up, so we got to be careful on the dip. Now the dip could be anywhere, right? There's a bid here. 77. Watching.
HXHX. SXTC. CIFR. CMCT may resume in less than a minute. TIVC will resume at 10 hours 30 minutes and 12 seconds. SXTC halted. SXTC will resume at 10 hours 29 minutes and 33
INTJ.
seconds. PRTG. ABSI. MURA. CRWB.
Oh. What is this? Are we going lower? what we don't need is for this to go right back down to 40. So this candle on the 5 is going to be pretty crucial.
CMCT halted. CMCT will resume at 10 hours 32 minutes and 37 seconds. SXTC may resume in less than a minute.
It's just going to be like a brutal just grind lower. Five-minute pullback right after a fresh breakout. Lovely.
SXTC will resume at 10 hours 35 minutes and 28 seconds. CMCT may resume in less than a minute.
I traded quite a bit of shares.
Okay.
Nothing to show, so sizing back down. SXTC.
GRE.
CRWB. CIFR. CLSK. FMTO may resume in less than a minute.
Highs are at 209 here. Trying 85 for the dip.
CRWB.
WNW still interesting, of course, but bigger pullback.
AUUD may resume in less than a minute.
SXTC
And Steve
pulling
Davis.
back. Well, WNW might be cooked. Switching away from that.
CRWB.
Bro, there's no way we should be seeing a 5-minute pullback right away. Like, after a break over the whole dollar, yeah, but. And I missed the dip there. It's locked in.
ANBS.
CLSK. SXTC. CRWB. AUUD. H may resume in less than a minute.
Oh, come on. There's sellers coming in pretty low.
WB.
It's not a great candle. It's a false breakout candle. And then there's no immediate bounce. So we'll have to see. But 210s, like, it's a nice move. Right back down. Let's see if there's a 5-minute entry. Watching and waiting. No prolonged pullback, so right back up.
HYMC.
Yeah,
10 RG.
that was kind of high. Low. And it fills, I tell you.
BULL.
I'll be patient. I'll be patient. I'll wait.
OMH halted. OMH will resume at 10 hours 42 minutes and 2 seconds.
LVLU.
SLDV.
That was pretty good. So there's still some selling here. Definitely chasing it though, right? We're all the way at 2, coming from 75. There's a seller. It's going to break through. One more dip sure would be great.
BULLW. CLSK.
It's a tight pullback. Fairly tight. Stock is driving me mad right now. And then it gives the dip that I would have expected. And I gave into temptation to buy early. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Can we see over 2?
OMH may resume in less than a minute. CLSK. 10 hours 46 minutes and 28 seconds. KSCP. NMAX. GSRTR. UPXI. NMAX. SLTC. AGEN.
The earlier push was to 215. Now $2 is having a pretty hard time.
UPXI.
Honestly, I'm thinking about walking. It is maybe this one could continue. It's possible, but
FMTO may resume in less than a minute.
let's see how this 5-minute setup here plays out.
H may resume in less than a minute. NMAX.
Thinking about walking.
CMCT.
TIVO.
TOI.
If this can't recover,
UW.
then I think that'll do it. So I'll watch and see if it gives the bear flag setup. If not, I'll be out. So I'll wait like another 5 to 8 minutes. So right now I'm just letting it price in its high on this dip, and I'm gonna watch the range, unless it happens to just be like a V shape, one and done. But
NMAX. BTDR.
I'm just waiting patiently. The candle's actually about to close, which is interesting. The 5 minute candle to make the new high would be 86 if it doesn't give a range here, like consolidate in the range. We might see it. Yeah, so we're not going to get a consolidation there at all.
NMAX.
It, it's a little extended from the lows. It's fine if we see a pullback here. There are sellers, so I'd expect to see a pullback. If not, we need right over 2. Didn't get to adjust my share size there. I was gonna scale into the pullback if we consolidated with 500 share blocks. So this is good, but can we see either over 2 or the early pullback? Preferably the early pullback, but either or.
BGLC.
202. We're not really holding above the level. $98, 205. I didn't jump in behind it. These stocks, bro. Like, why do we have to move like such a lame way? The dip. All right, I think that's it. I think that's it. I mean, it gave this move, but honestly, I'm not making anything here. So walking away,
GMHS.
and my accuracy is just nowhere to be seen here. So I will walk away. I will walk away. So after yesterday, we're now in a drawdown of over 3K. Not ideal. 3,300 drawdown. '94. Yep. RT cannot make 10% of what Ross makes in a day, is the last comment left on the YouTube stream. Bro, if I was worried about what Ross makes in a day, bro, come on. What I do know is my averages, and we've seen these days like this, we've seen years, we've seen slower patches. It's all part of the deal. But I can't compare myself to somebody else, bro. The only thing I can compare myself against is myself, as in my own performance, where I am mentally, where the market is. On a day like yesterday, for example, right? The frustration of that recap, which is that we had a hotter day and I didn't do well, right? Things could have been a little bit better. But to say, hey, Ross, Tim Sykes, Humble Trader, whoever else, bro, these are people that are not like we're in a different path. Like these people will walk a different shoes than I walk. You know what I'm saying? So I can't compare myself to them, nor can they compare themselves to me. I mean, if you ask me, Pastor is easily number one, right? I mean, but I guess everybody will say that, right? I'm watching to see if it opens up more here.
SXTC.
More range and volatility could be pretty good. It's proven that it could move, but we've been pretty slow grind. See, those type of reactions like that are much better, right? We pull back 10 cents, it's instant move.
TGL. HLF. SXTC. HLF.
I do like what I'm seeing out of it here. We have a wider range with quicker, more immediate moves. But we'll see if that continues. If it goes back to just, couple cents up and down grind, I will be out like south.
FMTO halted. FMTO will resume at 11 hours 7 minutes and 50 seconds. ER.
No bounce on that one there.
HL.
So perhaps another 5-minute setup. Perhaps another 5-minute setup. I mean, people love to make comparisons. I mean, I get it, right? It's like the LeBron versus Jordan kind of thing. I guess it brings more outside of just trading. I guess it brings more drama. I guess people love drama.
TDR.
People love those type of conversations. Is Tim Sykes better than Ross? Is Ross better than Tim Sykes? Is Humble? Is RT? This, that. I mean, I get it. So people will, make comparisons and those type of things, but everybody's path is a little different. Everybody's path is a little different.
BTDR.
Ross traded smaller size.
FMTO may resume at less than
The people want drama. Bro, I'm chilling. Like, I mean, it's a bit of a slower start to the year, but what is it? April,
TDR.
there's still the overall market is like, in a pretty bad place, let's say, right, with the tariffs and everything else. We still have a ton of time over the next couple of months and even years, of course, for more hot days, more hot markets, bigger days, record days. This is just a formality, right? As in, slow stretches will come, slow patches, slow days. It's like somebody could subscribe to this channel today or the last 2 days and be like, oh, this doesn't make any sense, right? This is slow. This guy lost money twice. This is nonsense, right? But it's why we can't overthink or exaggerate off of just 1 or 2 days or a week, even a month, right? I had my first red month in like 2 years in May last month. And a big part of that is me trying something different, right? I still think I could have ended the month like up to 10K if I didn't do what I did, but I made a conscious choice to try something, knowing that it would be an opportunity cost, right? So
SXTC.
you definitely have to look at the larger sample size, the bigger picture, and
CPUS.
once you do that, you know,
TOI.
we've been here before. Like
Intel.
for me, it doesn't bother me, not even slightly. And then another thing that's pretty significant is that where I am today is a different place from where I was 3 years ago at this time. Like it's a whole different story. So I'm feeling pretty good. The pastor is chilling. Well, I have to be red for a whole year straight every day to then start up to you know, before I have to like panic. I have to show up red every day for like a year to really like say, okay, I am cooked officially. Time to retire.
BTDR. SXTC. TARA.
When the next hot cycle comes around, you know, we'll see. We'll see the greatness of the markets, of the strategy, of the style. But yeah, I think that'll do it for today.
BTDR.
Peter, what's up, man? Yeah, SXTC. I'll let the kite go away. I missed the last setup. Haven't really been super accurate, so it's all good. So over the last 2 days, we're at a drawdown of about
BTDR.
3,500.
SXTC.
You got a lot of the other traders also having some trouble. There's still going to be a few people who manage to pull out some green, but there's still some traders having trouble.
BTDR.
You know, you look at the chat, you have Mighty in the red. You know, some of these guys are having like their first red week in a long time. You know, stuff like that. You have some of the bigger traders that we, you know, because again, it's a community, right? You have some of the bigger traders who might have, who not, let's not say might, but who are having trouble as well. Some people are red in the last month, as in like big red. Some people are flat.
OMH halted. OMH will resume at 11 hours 16 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yeah, you know, looking in the chat room, we got a lot of mixed results. Tim is down 2,700. Mighty is down 4,000.
LPR.
HTZ.
Alice also in the red today. We got Ken, Kersey, and Shay holding it down. hopefully Big Steve and Dash were able to end with some good gains. We had Save, the monster. The monster himself also had a bit of a rough patch, and one of his bigger drawdowns the last 3 weeks. But anyhow, take care, stay safe, stay green. I'm gonna lock it in, and be back tomorrow. So let me upload to TraderView, by the way. We were up 10,000, and we took about a $3,000 loss. So we should be around 6 or 7K on the month. And my mic is muted. Jeez. I'm saying the last 2 days have been quite brutal. And here's the monthly calendar. Definitely not the best month. Year to date. Not the best year to date either. We've had the most red days we've ever had in a stretch. The best thing about this year has probably been, this win. I'd say we had a really good trade this particular day. We haven't really seen. I mean, there's been one other day where we saw this type of opportunity, but the accuracy has been pretty low. And definitely some tougher markets. I'm actually red on a day at this point into the year, which is pretty crazy. But green nevertheless, right? Our average green day 2,400, our average red day 1,300. $98,000 in gains, $45,000 in losses, plus 5,000 in fees. And these are the stats. Not the best stats. A lot of bigger drawdowns. 5K, 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 4K, 4K, 6, 8, and now this one in the last 2 days or 3 days, which is at 4,300. So in comparison to last year at this time, for example, But again, I'm not worried about any of this because, bro, one hot month we can do better than we did last year. Like, this is kind of how I look at it now with what we could do with size. These are the overall totals. Yeah, calendar. Last year, like the first 3 months of last year versus the first 3 months of this year. But for me, it's like this doesn't go away, right? Like these type of months, they don't go away. As in, like I'm not spending every single dime I make, right? So I'm saying like I have to be red every day for like a year or something. We've been responsible here for the most part. There's been some complications every now and again, but we've been responsible, right? Last February, one of the better months. February, October, November, probably December as well. Those 4 months are probably the better months of the year for most people. So the first 2 months last year, we've already did over 100,000. And then, March, April's where we had a bit of a slowdown last year. But we've already done this stuff before. Like it's not a secret that like this can happen again and will happen again under some better context and hotter market conditions. Days like yesterday are somewhat strange days. Like, whilst we did have some hotter opportunities, the stocks themselves are moving in a bit of an unorthodox way, I'd say. The breakout and the dips, especially when the halt levels are extended to the downside and upside. So the range and the volatility, much more crazy. But anyhow, if we look at week 3 of April, or week 2 to week 5, I guess, week 4, right? Week 1 alone was the entire month, and this time around I was supposed to go on a vacation, right here, which quite ironic. I was supposed to go on a vacation at this time of the month, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going on a vacation doing this well." And then from the 8th to the 29th, I made nothing. But this is what trading is, and this is what it means to own a business, right? It's very rare for a business anywhere to make money at all times and to be expanding at all times. We love growth. I mean, we're in a capitalistic society here, so growth is always good, and we want to always beat out our expectations. But at the same time, there's always a contraction that can happen, aka the overall market. If we just look at it, we're down like 30% or whatever it is, 20%. Recessions can happen, slower periods can happen. I've seen traders go sideways for 6 months and then back again. Like, I've had months. My biggest sideways period was like 4 or 5 months. Right? I've seen it with myself. I've seen it with other traders. So, being that this year has been a bit of a slower start, but still fairly good. Again, last month, if I wasn't trying that new thing, I would have ended the month green, like it without a doubt. Like I had so many days where I kind of gave back off of just like such crazy size and just like swinging like a madman, right? So this month right now will be a green month, like for sure. I have zero doubts. Well, and I have that confidence because the strategy works, right? You come down to October, November, December. December, a month with some more red days, but still a decent month. I mean, look at the red days here, right? 2,300, 27, 1K, 900, 14, 14, 15. The days will come again where every day you show up, it's like 5K, 5K, weeks like this, right? Look at November, 17K, 10K, 4K, 4K, 8K, all within 1 week. It's the cycle, the flow of the market, right? Now I can go back now to 2022 and now show you January of 2022. where I was red $125 on the month. And then same thing in February 2022, green 7. Can you imagine showing up to work every day and you lose money? All right. We still have this stock pushing up a little bit. This is why this is not a normal field. Like, there's risk here, right? This is not you show up to work, you get paid, you go home. This is a whole different thing. And it's why we encourage people, if you're gonna do this full time, especially if you're now starting, it's good to have multiple streams of income. If this is your only income in your first 6 months, you're red or flat, then you're not going to be able to sustain yourself. It's a business. It is a business. Did I throw in the towel too early and missed this? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I haven't been looking at level 2 to say if it's been good or not. But what I wanted was more range and more decisiveness in the moves, and we had the grind. So I'm like, okay, that's it. All right, 2022, slower year, smaller size as well for me throughout this year. Back then, this right here was a good month, and this is just a year ago, 2 years ago. This is a great month 2 years ago. It shows you how much the times have changed, right? This right here was an awesome month. May, another awesome month. June, another awesome month, right? This is what shear size does. Now this is just a good day in a hotter market. Share size, good market conditions. It's like a night and day difference when you look back at where you're coming from versus where you are. You know, so being on the internet, like, I get it, like, people can say anything, but it's like it none of that stuff can do anything, because you already, like, I'm living this experience to see the journey, right? To see how everything is shaping up. And I can already see ahead as well. I can see, because back in these times, where I am now, I could see it so clearly. And where I'm going, I can see very clearly as well. This is going to take a little bit of time. We're going to keep working, keep studying. You get some help along the way, which is always nice, right? Shout out to the community, right? I had somebody in the community reach out to me for like a study session like 2 months ago, or like a month ago, you know, to kind of show me some things. And I've had that throughout the years many times, right? Troy, one of those guys, if he's listening in, Troy from Dallas, big shout out to him. You know, he's the reason I started trading the dips like 2 years ago. It's like, bro, RT, you got to start looking at some of these dips. You know, months like this are like 30, 40K months with today's size. So you got to be able to roll with the punches as well. And when you are red, understand what it means. Understand what it means to manage risk as you go. This month right here, I still think this month is the hottest month I've ever experienced, even till today. August of 2022. It's one of those months where everybody had their best month, but you could trade from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, and there's a hot stock at almost every time of the day. I mean, it was a crazy month. A lot of days I had some trouble too, like starting red and then having to come back green. So, you know, into 2025, a little bit of trouble, but all good. in the neighborhood. This is the red month. The red month. Small green, massive red, flat, red 2700. And this looks like one trade right here. One or two trades. So I more than likely got caught in a massive flush. Just looking at the calendar. So, you know, for me, this type of stuff, it means nothing. It's different if I'm red on the month and I'm down like 50,000 or something, you know? Like to be red on the month and be red 1800, there's still an opportunity cost of being green, because yeah, I guess I could have been green X amount. But as mentioned, we kind of had that plan to try some new things. And, you know, you learn from those type of experiences too, right? Like putting out, there's a lot of good things all the time. Like putting out, like I got caught in that trade one day where I think it's like an instant 3K loss in like 15,000 shares in a mega flush. Bro, when it's hot again, because I'm gonna be taking some serious size, right? It's good to experience those type of things, because now it becomes nothing. Once you experience it once, that's it. So, you know, not being afraid to put out size in the key areas is gonna all help out when the time is right.
CPH.
So, I've got a bit of a rant to end the day here. For those people still trading SXTC, hopefully you got something on the last push there. We got what, 8 months, 6, 7, 8, 8 months, 8 more months to dial in, lock in, and get the job done. Not the year we would have wanted so far, but you know, we'll take, and I'll keep pushing. So stay safe, stay green, and I'll catch you guys in the recap. We can come back later after some breakfast if something else is moving and moving a little bit better. How do you manage to cut the losers quickly? The biggest thing that helps me with cutting losses quickly is understanding my trade plan before I get into the trade. I still at times will have trouble with it, and at times there can be conflicting interests in terms of hold times, but understanding the strategy that I'm looking at, the pattern, and having a target and a stop loss before the entry. So if I'm taking a dip or a breakout, which is usually the two types of trades that I'm looking at, if I'm buying a dip, it's usually in an area where I have reasons to believe there's support. So let's say I'm buying 250 here, right? As this thing is coming down, let's just say for whatever reason I think 250 area is a good dip, right? If I'm buying 250, 255 plus or minus, and high of day is at 290, and I think the stock can retake high of day, retest high of day, make a new high. If I'm buying support, then the stock shouldn't really be going down that much lower than support, because at that point it's just failing. So if I'm buying 250 and I think 240 is the last place or the lowest level, let's say the lowest level the stock could drop, below 240 I have no business being in the stock. Even if it goes to 239, 238, or if it just flushes down to 220. Either scenario, I need to cut the trade as quickly as possible, because my hypothesis is no longer working, and I just have to bail out as quickly as I can. I'm going to turn up my volume here, check. The volume drops due to the background noise. But okay, here we go. So just think about your trade idea, your risk to reward ratio, And if it's a dip or a support trade, there has to be a place where it's like the trade no longer makes any sense to be in. And if it's not making sense, it's not making sense, literally. Common sense and sense as in dollars, right? So you gotta cut it and then look to get back in. Breakout or bailout. Breakouts, if I'm looking for a breakout and the trade is not going right away, I need to be back out, right? Now, if you're trading a different strategy where you're looking to hold longer for 5, 10, 15, maybe an hour, 30 minutes to an hour at times, or at a time, I still think the concept applies. You still want to at least, think about a place where the stock is no longer feasible for the entry and the trade you're looking at, to then be able to cut it in a certain place. And you have to be able to cut it even if it flushes. Like if I'm buying a breakout at 285 here, and this just flushes down to 260, it doesn't mean I'm going to change the plan and just buy more or hold. Like every single time you guys have ever, trust me, every single time you guys have seen me buy lower, it's because I still think the stock is in support. But if it gets to a place where it's like below the level, it's just too much. And I look at support as a zone rather than a price point. It's rare that it's just one price. Sometimes you'll see it, but most of the times I find that it's a zone or let's say like a range. Let's say 190 by $2. If I'm in at 99 and I think 190 is still the low, it's possible that I might add if it goes lower at night. Now, if it breaks below 90, we're seeing 87, 86. Okay, I gotta cut it. So there'll be times where I buy lower, but it's because of that reason, right? Now, if the stock just flushes down, I'm just wrong about where the support should be, and that's fine.
SXTC.
Yeah, if we look back at this trade right here, we had a low of 19, low of 20. The third candle then gave a low of 06. Sometimes you'll see the consolidation, last much longer in those areas. This is a good example here. Let me just put this on in case I keep going. I probably should have did this a while ago. Thought I was going to shut it down, but I didn't. Yeah, this area right here, like we held up the lows quite a bit. And that was like 198. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I'd even say this is 5 and then 6 times before this really, gave a direction. And this is a pretty tight pullback versus the lows of where we came from on this dip of 165. 165 to 217, we held up, basically $2 for the lows.
TSTV.
Sometimes the issue for me on these particular stock is the speed of which the stock moves, right? So whilst the patterns here have been somewhat clean, time is also still a factor, right? And so at one point I was saying, I was hoping to see a bigger range and quicker decisive moves. That's where the strategy really excels. But when we're kind of grinding in some areas, it's a little bit more tricky, especially if it's not a 5-minute pullback, because typically I don't hold a 1-minute pullback for super long. And we missed this setup right here.
BTBR.
My last trade was on this candle, on this dip. But yeah, it's so far a decent year. Now we have another 3.5 quarters to go. I never set a dollar amount for a goal. It's more so we'll see where we are when we get to the last day of the year, right? Because it's just so hard to say. It's near impossible to know how well you can do. When rates start to go down again and we get back into more of a bullish market, we'll see. But that'll do it. I'll catch you guys in the recap tomorrow again. Let's see if there's any. Say hello to the Spanish traders. Hola, I guess hola, ¿cómo estás? Is the only thing I know to say, despite being from South America. Timothy, shout out to you. We had Timothy send in a $5 donation. People tune in here because we're at the end of the day we're transparent, right? Good, bad, in between. Like, people need to see all this stuff too. Like trust me, there's people who, even if there's a trader that's making $1 million a year or we met someone on the trip. We met a guy on the last trip who I think he's made over like 7 million, and he was in $1.3 million drawdown at that time of the trip. Maybe he's recovered since then and did a little bit better, but you'll never see because not everybody's just on YouTube every day like this, right? You're not gonna see the bad, the ugly. Even if somebody posts a P&L, if somebody posts a P&L at the end of the day, it shows nothing of like the roller coaster, the emotions, the all the ins and outs, and it doesn't even get close to what goes on in your mind as you're trading and things that you're seeing. Like, there's so many days throughout last year where it felt like I should have been up like 15, 20,000. And it's why I'd like complain on some of those days, like, man, like, only if I was where I needed to be mentally. Like, this field is like no other, man. It's different. And there's a lot of things that goes on to make the trader, to make the day. The P&L is just a small part of what the final result is, So in due time, very, very, very soon, we're going to be seeing some nice days coming. Yeah, despite being South American, I speak no Spanish. Fibonacci replacement. I do not use that particular indicator. In fact, I keep it pretty clean. I utilize VWAP on the 1 and 5 minute, the 200 EMA on daily, and just a couple of trend lines for consolidations, and then pre-market highs and lows for the open. Other than that, I'm pretty much watching at the patterns and looking at the price action via level 2. How do you manage the dip and rip halt resumption? And this is where I'm going to have to straight up say, you got to buy the course, bro. No, not even joking. Like, if you want to see countless examples of that trade, it's available in there. It's in a few recaps too throughout the years. Part of watching every day is that I will show things over time. I mean, probably in the past I showed more. I mean, well, I definitely showed more in the past, if I'll be honest. I mean, back then I didn't know that I couldn't stream the level 2 on YouTube, so I was just showing everything. So there's people who've learned how to trade this style just from watching me trade on YouTube back in those days. I mean, and still over time, right, with the recaps and things like that. Of course, via the course, because everything is so transparent, we have a lot of successful students. I mean, we have students who, I mean, shout out to the students, right? I mean, it's insane, and it's a long list. And you have Jorge, Jackson, Lucas, just to name a few off the top. Alice, there's Dynasty, Minty. Some people go by their real name, others go by like a handle name, like a chat room name. There's D-Trade, there's Andy, there's Big Steve, there's Dash. There's a lot more names too. There's Enzo. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's Nick. Not everybody. If I'm able to do a success story with everybody who are students, we should have 3 times the success stories. There are some people who are like, for one reason or another, sometimes it's privacy reasons, other times they just don't want to do it. And then there's other situations too. But there's a lot of thriving students, right? BMAC, people who've came, some people, I will say some people have come from like different starting points. We've had people who are break even, who started and then got better. People who might have been like $200 a day, but then they join and then they skyrocket to like 2K a day. Then there's been people who've like from zero to then, green. People who've been trading for a year, like losing, and then they join, then they become, better. Spartan, or I can't forget Spartan as well. There's a lot of people who I'm not going to remember off the top, right? And these people are like most of them are like millionaires at this point, as in like their pace are like millionaire pace. Like people who've made $250,000 in a month, like 300K in 2 months, and like that was them turning the corner. $250,000 year, like insanity, right? And there's many more to come. Am I a fan of the tariffs? I think what do I want to say here? If we can have a good deal where it benefits the United States and the people as a whole, great. But we're hearing a lot that the tariffs are just passed on to the customers, and that can make it more tough for people who have lower income, things like that. But if there's a way for it to be done right, and I guess that's the aim, is for it to be done in a good way where the country benefits, I think that's good. But the biggest thing for me now with the tariffs is that it allows me to buy strong companies at a discount. It allows me to buy the market where I couldn't really buy the market properly before. I have a pretty big time horizon, and I'm slowly dollar cost averaging in to the stock market right now, as in the SPY, the S&P 500. And this is, what do they refer to it as? Like disposable income, like income that I don't need. I don't need this to touch this cash at all. And so I'm just slowly, a couple shares, 1 share even, and just slowly averaging in. And earnings season is going to be pretty big, because if earnings are still strong and these companies are down this much, then it's a great sign for a rally to come soon. Now, if earnings are weak or slower, and even guidance is lower as well, then it'll take longer for everything to then reverse, which is still fine, because for me, I mean, whether it takes a month or 5 years, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter at all. So I'm just gonna just keep going, and if the market goes lower, even better, because then I get to keep buying at even a lower rate, right? Or a lower price, let's say. Now, if you're looking to retire tomorrow, and the market's down 20-30%, that's terrible, right? But we've seen this game before of tariffs. It almost seems like it almost seems laughable in a way. Again, earnings are pretty important, I think, for this type of time. But if you're looking down the line a year and a half, 2-3 years, we've had the 90-day pause. We'll see what type of deal they come up with. There's a lot of bluffing, I feel like, from the USA and China as well. I mean, China's going to do what they have to do, but I think there's some bluffing on our side to just try to get a better deal, you know. And then it's just it's how you negotiate, right? I come high, you come low, and then we kind of meet in the middle somewhere. And then anywhere in the middle will be better than the deal that we have now, which will be a good catalyst at that point. And we'll see how this plays out when it comes to the interest rates in the next 6-8 months, and if rates continue to come down a little bit more. Because if the rates continue to come down, for sure we're going to see a good uptrend. So strong earnings, I think, is important the next 2-3 quarters. This quarter as well. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it. And there's risk, I think, being exposed to any one company or one sector is too risky. But if we're diversifying properly, then that's a good way to go, right? So whilst I have some individual stocks like in Nvidia, Tesla, and others, I'm buying the SPY more than anything. And if the SPY goes to zero, then money doesn't mean anything in this world anymore. It will be in what's one of these movies, the sci-fi movies like Shaun of the Dead, or like Walking Dead. It'll be like mass looting and just like chaos. So until that day comes, I'm just gonna be buying every single big dip, and then taking profits when it makes sense, and then just keep rinsing and repeating. I think when you're getting ready to retire is where you have to be more careful and perhaps more conservative, because to have to wait an extra 5-8 years for things to get back to where they are, it's a little bit more tough when you're already that age of like 60. You just want to get the cash and just really enjoy everything. But typically, if you're doing everything right in a good, sensible way, there's no reason to be waiting till 60 to be doing anything. That's the old-fashioned way, right? The new way of doing things is to be able to retire a little earlier, I'd say. A lot of this stuff will vary. It'll depend. There's a lot of variables that go into it. Income is pretty big. It's probably one of the bigger components, and then investing that income and investing it in a let's say a mild way. investing it in a mild way where it's compounding over time. And then, from there, there's also personal habits. There are some people who are more frugal. I think that does help when you're in the building stage, the investment stage. If you want the Lambo in the first year of doing well, then it'll probably set you back, right? But if you're kind of still driving the normal Honda or whatever, then most of your money is still going towards maybe something a little bit more productive, right? It will help people diversify in and outside of the market. And so the more access to cash, the better. And the more you can get into, just having better and or more assets, right? Staying out of consumer debt. These things, different people will have different vices. Of course, not gambling is pretty big. Some people do like to gamble. If you're a trader making XYZ amount, hopefully you're not gambling in like the casino afterwards, right?
CAPR. USG.
Until further notice, the stock market is going to keep going up. Until further notice, until the end of this great society. And that doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon. Doesn't seem like it'll be anytime soon. For anybody now tuning in, here's the month, including today. And we're going to shut it down here. Biggest green day, 46. Biggest red day was yesterday. Again, accuracy below 45%. Biggest thing for me. Just a day where I'm just not accurate. A lot of losing trades. Just smaller losses, but still, compounding. Eight losing streak here. Winning trades not that big. But yeah, take care, stay safe, stay green. Have I audited statements for my students? I haven't audited statements, but what I do is a little different, right? Like, I guess there's more liability in what I do, but I have them show me their accounts. Like they log in, so this will be done off camera, but I have them log in and then I'll see what's going on. As in, I'm not gonna look at their password, of course, but they'll log in and then once all of the students are utilizing the same software that I use. Once they're inside this broker, right? Jesus Christ. Once they're inside this broker, there's no way that they can I can't be fooled in this platform. It's impossible. Right? I'll have them do everything, right? As in turn off the privacy mode and then switch to all the different tabs I need to see. If I've been lied to this point, I mean, at that rate, I'd have to be impressed because it'll be on the level of Marvel comics.
TTD
Like, for those of you who are familiar with like the magic system, there, like they'll be pulling elephants out of hats. Like it's impossible.
RTG
It'll be impossible, brother, to like fake the broker itself. Now, if anybody wants to go as far as to say they don't trust me or what I'm doing here, then there's nothing I can do at that point for that individual, right? Because I show everything. It's like if I was coming here to lie every day, like it would not look like this, I'd probably be trading in two accounts at the same time, going long and short, and then just coming with a 5 minute video or a recap every day saying I'm up X amount, just showing the winning account, and then never doing a live stream, never showing my screens, never doing all these things. Like, I'm very comfortable here. Like, I'll
TOIN
let me take off this. Okay, here we go. Like, I can show you guys this other screen that I use. Like, well, there's nothing for me to hide here. I can click around in every screen. There's no hiding of anything. I can show every single trade I took today and the timestamp as well. And then anybody can go back and watch the live stream. Like if somebody wanted to do like an FBI investigation, like okay, let's just really confirm that this guy is who he says he is, right?
unit
And then there's videos for years going back. But there are fake people. I mean, I've heard of situations like Marcel is a former warrior trading student as well, like in the earlys.
RILT
Like he mentioned there was a guy there that was a fake student. And honestly, I don't know why people do these things.
SO unit TN
Like what would I gain? Like I try to think about it, right? Like let's say I tried to be a fake student. Like what would I try what would my purpose be in trying to do something like this? Like what is the goal? What is the aim?
DRM.
Is it like, are you gonna try to maybe launch your own thing, your own platform? Is that what it is? I mean, I don't know. Like
SWTX
the guy was a fake trader for like 2 years, I think, right? And he's just showing, I guess, fake statements or P&Ls regularly, but he never tried like opening a service
TNA
or selling
SO
anything.
unit
So like, what is he doing there? Like what? You just imagine how many things you could be doing with your day and how you could be spending your time to say, all right,
BTD
let me just fool everyone here, and every day I'll just fool everyone. Like, bro, I can't even comprehend that stuff. Like, it's just silly, bro. The amount of things you could be doing in this world to be great.
FULC.
TPC
Like the fake accounts are like a different story. Like, so people will create fake Relentless Trader accounts, and they'll try to message people as if they're me, and they'll try to like sell some sort of service, and they'll be like, oh, like message me through WhatsApp or Telegram or some nonsense. And like I say this, I post the disclaimers regularly. I always say I'll never message you first. Like that sadly, that type of, and there's other channels that I see. I mean, it is quite sad. These people are like somewhere in like China or India or somewhere in like a basement, maybe even right here in the States, who knows? Like, and they're trying to create or get fast money. Can I trick someone to send me $10? I mean, I've seen some crazy ones before where it's like people are like, send me 30 grand, and I'm gonna get you 20%. Like, I hope to God that nobody's ever fell for that type of stuff. Like, you can't be so gullible, right? Like, I mean, it is kind of insane. It's why it's why most people who are profitable would never even do what I'm doing. Like I get it to a degree. Like there's people who are making money who they would care less to show anybody anything at all, right? It's understandable, but you still have to like have logic behind it too. So okay, RT trades live every day, but if I have the capabilities to be making $100,000 a day and only how do I want to say this? If I'm making $100,000 plus to because that's how like ridiculous the statements that these scammers are using, right? That's what it would be. Like me making $100,000 in the first second of every day, and by the end of the day, I'm like up $1 million. You know, like you still have to use that like common sense to know like this is like fake. Like nobody's turning it. Not even the stock market does. 50% on 50 on your money every time. Like it's just insane. It's just too good to be true, right? So when people are showing something like that's what you have to look for, like that transparency, right? Transparency is the key, not any like foolish story that people make up. Like we'll talk about security, like amounts of the team, and it's like that's probably one of the biggest things that could happen is where somebody gets scammed and then instead of like blaming the scammers, they blame the real person. I've had other YouTubers who are big time YouTubers tell me this, as in like the big time YouTubers everybody know of. They've told me this like somebody's trying to sue them, and it's like it's why we put all the disclaimers every day, right? Some of these things they seem like a formality, sadly. Like the longer you're here doing this, the more likely it is to happen, despite you doing everything you can do. Like we'll have people taking down accounts all the time, but it's just a tough thing, man. I've seen people that had like 90 fake accounts at one time on just one platform. Like you couldn't even tell who was the real account anymore. And it's to the point where the guy's real account got banned and there's still 80 fake accounts. Just can't make this stuff up. The real account is banned for 3 months and there's like 80 fake accounts. And he's saying on all his other platforms, hey, my real account is banned. Don't go on that website. Don't go on that app. This is Instagram, by the way. Don't my Instagram account is gone. Don't message me there. And there's 80 fake accounts. It's like at some point the platform has to also be responsible, like they're supposed to have systems for this stuff, man. And it's why I pay for the blue checks. Like I pay for the blue checks on all the platforms. It's like between all of them, it's like $60 a month or something. But hopefully it's like an extra layer of security to help people. And God forbid these people are paying for the blue check as well, because then it's a much bigger problem. The hope is that because they might be in other countries where $15 is like everything, that they're not going to be willing to spend that. But you never know. And it's not just in this financial space. I guess that's where I'll end it off. It's like basically in just life, man. There are people who are going to try to get you. Some of them are going to be professional and they're going to be legal, as in like lawyers. Like let's look at our healthcare systems, right? Look at if you go to a hospital, the amount of money that you spend, and it's like normal. Like you can go into a hospital for 3 days and spend 80K, and that's a normal thing. But to me, it's like you're just getting robbed, right? Did they provide a service? Yeah, but let's be honest, like me getting an IV for 3 days was not 80K. Like, and then half the times they can't even show you the bills and the itemized items. Like the car dealerships are a crazy one. The car dealerships, they laugh at people when they leave. Like I know a couple of people who work at car dealerships. It's brutal stuff, man. In every field, every sector, every industry, there's just people there at all times that you got to watch out for. So you have to make sure we're always getting a good deal. And, you know, then you have the actual scammers. People will go far, man. But yeah, take care, stay safe, stay green. This is where I'm gonna shut it down. Back in the days, on a slow day, I would do this type of rant every day. But nowadays, when it's slow, I just shut it down right away. Today is one of those days where I kind of stick around and just go off topic into any direction. Maybe answer a few questions along the way as well, but yeah. See you guys later. Stay safe, stay green. Red day recap. Down 9.20 and 2 cents. Catch you guys later.